Hey guys, welcome back to Pretentious Pundits, a podcast where we discuss all things football and pretend to know what we're talking about. As you can see, we're dwindling in number, but still going to put out the
It's just
content.
us two.
Yeah, it's just the both of us. Regardless, we're pretty late with this, and this has become a common tone now, so I guess sorry. Uh, One game has already been played of game week 6, which is Aston Villa versus Leeds, which ended in a 3-0 victory for Leeds. We'll talk about that in our review episode, but let's just move on with the other fixtures that are going to be played today. West Ham versus Manchester City. Yasser, I only have one question for you, and this would pretty much sum up the entire fixture. Do you see City bouncing back from their recent form? I mean, I know they beat Porto in Champions League this Thursday, and also beat Arsenal in Premier League.
Yeah.
But their start to the season hasn't been quite up to the mark as Guardiola would have hoped. And
Yeah.
West Ham actually fighting back to a 3-3 draw against Tottenham. And what a screamer scored by Lanzini. But how do you see this game panning out? In whose favor?
I think West Ham were in really good form. Those two victories against West Ham, against Wolves as well, a 4-0 win. And then against Tottenham, they went down 3-0 in 15 minutes. And then they picked up, obviously, with that Lanzini goal in the end.
Yeah.
But then City have been, I think, the previous two games, they won against Porto as well.
Yeah.
So, they have picked up form, obviously, and, they'll be looking to kick on from this. I think they'll do pretty well, City. I think they'll win this game easy, considering the lineup that they've got, the depth that they've got.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be really simple and a clear win for City.
What about the injury worries that they have? I mean, De Bruyne, who has missed out a couple of games, also. It's, players like Aguero who have just come back from injury. Aguero got off to a good start in the Champions League. I mean, Premier League, he was a little lackluster against Arsenal, but did well against Porto, got a goal. Gabriel Jesus still on the sidelines, so not really sure about that. But like you said, City have the depth. So I guess.
Yeah, I think De Bruyne is back in training, so
Yeah.
he might be on the bench for this game. But Aguero, they have Mahrez, they have Gundogan.
Yeah.
It's even if they have injured players, they're always going to bounce back.
Yeah.
With the depth that they've got, so I think it's not an issue for City. They have enough quality in their squad to beat a team like West Ham.
Completely agree. I mean, they are a brilliant team, and you expect them to come away with the win, which they most probably will. Moving on to the next fixture, there is Fulham versus Crystal Palace. I mean, Fulham's form has been pathetic. Crystal Palace have had a very good start to the season, I would say, because they got that win against Manchester United and got a very undeserved draw, in my opinion, last game week against Brighton. But again, a point is a point, and Crystal Palace are probably exceeding their own expectations at the beginning of the season. How do you see this game panning out? Like, I personally would tip the scales in favor of Crystal Palace because Fulham haven't really looked like a threat going front.
Yeah.
I mean, they bossed the possession against Sheffield last week, but nothing ever came of it because their final touch is still missing.
Yeah. I think Lookman, Ademola Lookman, who is on loan from Leipzig, I think.
Yeah.
He played really well for Fulham. I think he got the goal as well in that game.
Yeah, he did.
Mitrovic looked abysmal. I had him in my FPL as well. He missed a penalty. I hate that man. But Fulham love having that possession. They like keeping the ball, moving it around. But they don't have enough quality. I think Loftus-Cheek he did a decent job in the last game, but again, they love having possession, and Crystal Palace, they like the opposite. They love sitting back, inviting pressure, and then hitting them on the counter. And I think Batshuayi, Zaha, Ayew, they have a lot of quality as well.
Yeah.
So that's a perfect game for Crystal Palace. Away from home, they can afford to sit back, invite pressure, and hit them on the counter. And I think that's going to be the tone of the game.
And the battle between the two managers, Scott Parker and Roy Hodgson. Roy Hodgson, brilliant manager. I mean, he's shown it to us over and over again that he still got it, and his best days are not beyond him. Scott Parker, on the other hand, good manager, but I feel like he has a lot to figure out about his team because they're not really clicking in the Premier League as of now. And if this form continues, they're pretty much going down this very season.
Sure.
And this has been majority of our worries. I think we've been worried about Fulham staying up in this league. And their start kind of justifies our worries that, they might be getting relegated. And probably the fixture of the game week, we're gonna include this in this very episode. Uh, Talking about Manchester United versus Chelsea, and as a Chelsea fan, Yasser, I feel like this is perhaps one of the most important fixtures on your calendar because over the couple of seasons you've had, rough time playing against United.
Yeah. Last season, I think this was Lampard's first game away from
Yeah.
home at Old Trafford, and we went down. We lost 4-0, which was a very bad start to the
Yeah.
season. But then we faced United a lot of times. I think 4 or 5 times last season. But the recent one, we won the FA Cup semi-final against United.
Yeah.
Ended up 3-1. And United, to be fair to them, the last two games they played against Newcastle and PSG, they won both of them.
Mm-hmm.
They looked really comfortable.
Yeah.
But then on the Chelsea, on the other hand, that Southampton draw, which was 2 points
Unnecessary,
drop.
I would say. Yeah, unnecessary.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just
2
close the game
points
down.
dropped. Exactly. The defense was not the greatest thing in that game, but against Sevilla, we looked defensively really better. It
Yeah.
was really a decent performance. I think Pulisic at the end of the game and the press conference said as well that getting a clean sheet was a huge achievement because that's what it has come to for Chelsea. Not keeping clean sheets. But
Fair
then,
enough,
yeah, Mendy in goal is looking really good. He made a brilliant save against Sevilla. And, Thiago Silva and Zuma look like they're really, they both can speak French. Even Aspilicueta can speak French. So, the backline, has a
Communication going.
communicate. Yeah, that's what new players need, communication at the backline. So that's really important.
Right.
And hopefully, we can kick on from that, clean sheet and, Timo Werner and Havertz getting their first goal. And
Yeah.
hopefully this game can be the start of something great.
I mean, fingers crossed. Honestly, like I couldn't predict this game if I tried myself, but we'll try regardless. What are your predictions for the scoreline, Yasser?
This game is really difficult because United at home, at Old Trafford have conceded 3 goals against Crystal Palace and 6
Yeah.
against Tottenham. But then you look at Chelsea on the other hand as well. It just
Bottled
I
two
hope
3-0 leads this season.
yeah, exactly. At the back both teams look really shaky.
Oh wait, I'm
But
sorry.
then
Didn't bottle 2 3-0 leads. They were losing 3-0 in one game and fought back to a 3-3 draw and then bottled a 3-0 lead.
yeah, it was 2-0 as well. It was
Yeah,
2-0 and then Ings
2-0,
scored and
yeah.
then 2-1,
My
3-2.
bad.
Yeah. Anyways, my predictions are for this game. I really want Chelsea to win, but I also want an exciting game, so I'm going 3-2 for Chelsea.
3-2 for Chelsea. All right.
What about you?
I would possibly peg it to be a 2-2 draw. I could see a VAR controversy happening yet again. Because it's usually these big matches that are dominated by VAR fixtures.
Yeah, I think they come to the spotlight.
VAR decisions. And if history is anything to be taken into account, I feel like you will be on the receiving end of the VAR decision.
Yeah.
Receiving end of a poor VAR
Against
decision, if I must
PSG,
say
against
so.
PSG, Bruno took the penalty and Keylor Navas saved it,
Yeah.
and then it was rescinded and it had to be taken again.
Yeah.
And Bruno ended up scoring. I think that was the same thing which happened against Crystal Palace as well.
Yeah, De Gea saved the penalty and then had to end up. And yeah, again, regardless, I feel like we all have already, like we have said already, this is probably going to be a very interesting game, and I see it going, towards a draw, and you see it going towards a close victory for Chelsea. So let's see how that pans out. To all of our viewers watching, please let us know your predictions down in the comments, and let's see who gets it right. Moving on to Sunday's fixtures. Starting off with Liverpool-Sheffield. Liverpool hosting Sheffield at home, and I personally am really excited for this one because this is probably our time to bounce back. I said that about Everton game last week, and pretty much we did bounce back if it wasn't for dodgy VAR decisions and Everton players with murderous intents. Regardless, I digress. We move on from that, and I feel like this is time for Liverpool to we have to capitalize on this chance. Sheffield have been in abysmal form since the beginning of the season, and it couldn't have come at a better time for Liverpool. We won against Ajax 1-0 in the Champions League fixture, so the confidence has been raised a little from the Everton draw. But I feel like we're in a good place, and this could be one of those big scoreline games for Liverpool if everything goes right, and I hope everything goes right because it's high time.
Yeah.
And Southampton versus Everton is the next fixture on the schedule, and this I don't know what to say. I mean, Everton have faced their Everton have faced a lot of tough fixtures. Probably Liverpool being the toughest for them so far, and this would be a fairly easier one because Southampton, even though they have shown their spirit, like they've shown the fighting spirit in them, and they've shown the quality that Danny Ings and Che Adams possess. I feel like their 4-4-2 formation more often than not works against them rather than for them because it's a very basic formation and easy to counter compared to Everton's 4-3-3. And
Yeah.
Everton has been in the better form, unbeaten so far this season, and Southampton have a problem at the back, concede goals every game, the leaking goals. So,
Yeah.
Yasir, do you see this going in Everton's favor as well, or do you have a different opinion?
Yeah, from what I saw in the last game against Chelsea, they love to press high. They commit so many men forward as well. They love pressing the centre back. So if Everton managed to beat the first press, I think it's easy for them because the likes of James, I think he's going to be fit for this game.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'll be match fit, but he'll be fit for this game. I think he'll play a part like coming off the bench or starting.
Mm-hmm.
But then Everton look really good in this game. I mean they look really good this season, and Southampton, they love pressing forward, and I think
Right.
Everton, it plays to their strengths. They can really keep the ball well and exploit their defense.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it looks like it's going Everton's way.
Yeah, fair enough. And I feel like you mentioned earlier, Southampton like to press high, and that's when they can get caught out because the quality that James Rodriguez and Luca Digne possess to launch those long balls and the swerve on the ball they put, or finding a person through the defense. And Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison love to make those runs. Unfortunately, Richarlison won't be available, but regardless, I feel like any number of players for Everton could fill that role. The main being Bernard. I feel like Bernard is probably going to be the one to fill that gap. If not, you could probably see Andre Gomes starting and probably James Rodriguez playing on one of the wings on left, where he'll be repeatedly asked to cross the ball into the into the D. My bad, into the D. But yeah, probably a comfortable fixture for Everton and should come away with the win. Moving on to the next fixture, which is Wolves versus Newcastle United. Newcastle have been very lackluster despite spending big this transfer window. I mean, they've gotten a few players that we thought would solve their issues, namely, Callum Wilson, Ryan Fraser, and a lot of other players. I mean, this goes to show that spending big does not necessarily mean that you're going to perform well. Because Wolves also have had a very shaky start to the season, if I may say so myself. They've been strong, but the loss against West Ham could have been avoided. But I mean, to lose by that margin to a West Ham side, I don't know what I can say. I mean, they're not that bad, West Ham, but
Yeah, I think Wolves are 7th in the table, so with that, I think it's decent for them. At the
Yeah.
start of the season,
Yeah.
I think the new players have to still settle in the team,
yeah,
and it can, these kind of fixtures is where you need to get those 3 points and then push on for the rest of the season.
exactly. And probably this is a good starting point for Wolves as well to start, showing better form, performing better. I mean, they edged Leeds in the last game week 1-0,
Yeah.
and that was a brilliant performance to come up against a team Leeds that are so attack minded and they like to pressurize you throughout 90 minutes. It just never stops. The pressure never stops. To come away with a 1-0 win against them is something great. And swiftly moving on to the fixtures to be played on Monday, there is Arsenal versus Leicester City, yet another riveting fixture, if I may say so myself. Arsenal, I mean, should probably win this game, in my opinion, because Leicester City have had a massive drop in form. I mean, ever since that victory against Manchester City, they've had nothing really to show for. And their performance has been relatively poor, losing out to Aston Villa last game week. I mean, 1-0, closely fought affair, but still, for a team of Leicester's caliber, you'd expect them to play better, if you know what I mean. What do you think, Yasir? Do you think Arsenal have the better squad quality to beat Leicester, or do you think Leicester can pull off another upset?
I think Leicester away from home, they have been brilliant.
Yeah.
I think majority of their wins, against City as well, it was at the Etihad. And, they look great away from home. It plays to their strengths. They can, play out from the back and then invite pressure. and also then Vardy can come into play as well. Vardy hasn't scored. At home he's been not great really. Against West
Yeah,
Ham, he was really bad as well. So the Leicester look like they are good, but Arsenal have too much quality as well. I think Aubameyang has not been great since he signed the contract.
yeah.
And Willian is injured, so Pepe will obviously start in his position. And in the Europa League, Arsenal, they won 2-1 against Europa League side. I don't know what their name is.
Do you
Yeah,
want to?
but Thomas Partey came on the bench. He
Yeah,
looked really decent. Arteta was praising him for his performance. He said he really looked dominant and did really well. So the hopefully he can come into this game and solve their midfield. Like I think they can solidify their midfield even more.
fair enough. And do you see Thomas Partey starting this game, or do you see him coming off the bench yet again?
I think he'll start this game because I think 2 games he's come off the bench in against City and in the Europa League. So this game, hopefully, he'll. I think Arsenal fans will be eager to see him start this game.
Yeah. And the
Yeah,
club Arsenal played in Europa League, Rapid Wien, if that's how you
yeah, two
pronounce it.
one.
Yeah, 2-1. Again, moving on, I feel like the next fixture to be played is going to be Brighton Hove Albion versus West Brom. And my God, Brighton Hove Albion versus West Brom is probably going to be one of the uh, more boring fixtures, if I may say so myself, because Brighton love attacking, but West Brom also usually sit back and face, try to beat their opponents on counter. Uh, if all goes well for Brighton, this could probably be one of those high-scoring games as well, because West Brom have shown how defensively leaky they are. I mean,
Yeah.
they were winning 3-0. Was it at Stamford Bridge, if I'm not wrong, or
No, it was at the
Hawthorns?
Hawthorns.
Yeah, my bad, the
Haw-
Hawthorns. Winning 3-0 at home, and then you go ahead and concede 3 goals. And I feel like the only reason they were able to keep a clean sheet against Burnley last game week was because Burnley also are in abysmal form right now, and that's pretty much the only reason I could think of that they kept a clean sheet. Probably being their first of the season, and again we've seen this before. In their opening game day against Leicester, they were winning. They went ahead, and then they go ahead and throw the game away. It's been a
Yeah,
constant.
yeah. Both of these teams, I think they are 16 and 17 on the table.
Yeah.
Brighton is 16th and West Brom are 17th. So they need the points to get out of the position that they are in. So it's gonna be a really interesting game. But Brighton look like they're gonna come out on top.
They're 1 point behind. They're 1 point ahead of Sheffield. I mean, West Brom is 1 point ahead of Sheffield and Fulham. So I feel like
Yeah.
for Fulham, this could probably be one of the best chances possible to climb out of the relegation zone if they can pull off this victory, because uh, it would probably give them a 2 point lead over West Brom if Brighton managed to complete the job and beat West Brom, and it would give them a huge lead over their counterparts. I mean, Sheffield, who are also in the relegation zone with them and pretty much on the same tally. And as you can see, Sheffield are facing Liverpool, so that's going to be a tough ask for Sheffield to come away with points. But you never know. And one final fixture to be played on Tuesday, which is Burnley versus Tottenham. Tottenham going away at Burnley, but I feel like Tottenham have been in relatively the better form, much the better form, despite the last, the upset in the last game week of the Premier League. Regardless of that, I feel like now Jose Mourinho would have, had a talk with his players, fueled them on, and probably going to be an easy victory for Tottenham. But what are your opinions? What is your opinion on Burnley's recent form?
Yeah, I think Burnley, they have to pick up their form as quickly as possible because it's not looking great for them. They are 18th in the league. They have conceded 8 goals, which is according to Burnley, like regarding Burnley, it's very bad because they like to shut up shop. They like to really defend deep and then not concede goals and then hit them on the counter or on set pieces.
Yeah.
So, they have to pick up form as quickly as possible. They have to get those goals. I think they have scored 3 goals in 4 games, which
Right.
to stay in the Premier League, that's not great.
Yeah. Especially for a side as physical as Burnley.
Yeah.
Defense is their major, focus. And okay, one last question before we wrap up this episode. What do you think is going to what do you think the PL table is going to look like by the end of this game week? Do you see Everton staying at the top, or do you see new league leaders? It could be anyone. It could be Aston Villa. It could probably be, that's pretty much all there is. It's just on Aston Villa.
Yeah, Arsenal lost the game, so
Yeah.
I think it's up to others to capitalize on that. Leeds.
Yeah, but I feel like
Leeds are third on the table now with
Yeah.
one game played extra as well.
And I
But,
feel like, there is nothing more for this. I feel like Everton are probably going to stay up again. They're going to
Yeah.
stay top of the league this game week as well. 16 points if they win. If I'm not
Yeah.
wrong. Yeah, 16 points if they win. I mean, even if they lose, Liverpool are the only club who can probably get to the 13-point tally. But Everton would still stay ahead on goal difference. Having the positive 7 goal difference, and Liverpool having the negative, not negative, I'm sorry, 0. They have a 0 goal difference. So
Yeah.
this is probably
Before we
gonna be a
conclude,
tough task.
Arsenal versus Leicester, I think that game is another relatively big fixture.
Yeah, fair
So, what do
enough.
you think the prediction is going to be for Arsenal versus Leicester?
Arsenal versus Leicester, I feel like this is going to be a 2-1 victory to Arsenal. Close fought, but 2-1. Probably Bukayo Saka getting onto the score sheet, and also Alexander Lacazette.
Yeah, he's been great, Bukayo Saka.
Yeah, Bukayo Saka is looking like, he could be the next great thing to happen for England. So,
Yeah.
fingers crossed. What about you? What do you think? What is gonna be the scoreline for this game?
I think it's going to be 2-1 to Leicester.
2-1 to Leicester.
I'm going for Leicester because I know they have had injuries.
Right,
I think
yeah.
Soyuncu is out, and then Ndidi is out as well. But then, they really tend to do well away from home.
Yeah,
I
they do.
think they might cause an upset. Yeah.
They
So I
might.
think 2-1 to Leicester.
2-1 to Leicester, fair enough. So I say 2-1 to Arsenal, you say 2-1 to Leicester. Let's see. Also, guys, people who are watching this, again, leave your predictions down in the comment section, and let us know what you think. And drop your predictions down in the comment section. We would love to know what you guys think. And yeah, with that, I think we can conclude this episode saying that this is going to be a fairly challenging week for most of the teams. Probably still going to see Everton stay on top at the end of the game week. And the only changes that can be made to this Premier League table would be Liverpool going second. And the bottom half, again, it's a closely tight. I mean, the top 10, if I may say so, from the 5th position onwards, there are 3 teams. There is Leicester, Arsenal, and Wolves who are on the same tally, who are on 9 points. So you could see a shuffle around over there. Tottenham on 8 points, again, really close. So the only change you can see in the top 4 would probably be between one of these 3 teams, because it's either on Tottenham, Wolves, Arsenal, or Leicester to capitalize on this and get their position back into the top 4. And yeah, hopefully we see a lot of goals. And the Premier League has been very entertaining thus far, and hopefully it will be the same for the coming game weeks. Anyways, that's it from us for this episode, guys. Hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, make sure to like this video and also subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to stay notified for our further uploads. We're also going to be starting a review or preview segment for the Champions League fixtures. So yeah, stay tuned for that. We already shot a review episode. It must be up. We'll put it up really soon. And thanks a lot for all your support, guys. We really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.
See you.
Bro, the game started, bro. The other one.
I know City, no?
Yeah. What's the score? 0-0 only.
I think.